Welcome to Fitting Model 101. I am Julie, your host, and today I'm going to explain to you what it is to be a fitting model. A fit model is a model that works in the fashion industry directly with owners, designers, pattern makers, tech designers, and everybody else involved in clothing manufacturing. It is the job of the fitting model to help aid in production and manufacturing of correct fitting garments for sales and consumption of the general market. A fit model is basically a live mannequin or a dress form that can give you feedback about how a garment fits. A dress form cannot do this. So if I say it's too tight, the shoulder's too tight, I have no reach, or the armhole's too tight, this is what a fit model does. She also can go into details and say, I need a 1/4 inch here, 1/2 inch here, the slope is wrong, this doesn't feel like my size, whatever she needs to say to help in the construction of a garment. Comments given to people involved in garment construction, designers, pattern makers, and tech designers is very important. And it's more important to be accurate about the comments you're giving them. Because if you give them the wrong comments, you can completely screw up a garment and ruin its ability to sell or cause a high return rate. So basically, this is what a fitting model does. She helps with the development and construction of a garment before it goes into mass production. One of my favorite movies that makes fun of the fashion industry is Zoolander, and it's this extreme clip below that explains my profession.
Hold very still, very still. I'm working right now. Ouch! Oh, I'm sorry. Did my pen get in the way of your ass? Do me a favor and lose 5 pounds immediately, or get out of my building like now! Get out!
With that said, I'm going to bring up some key points about being a fit model. So listen up, because these top 5 are the make it or break it and whether you can even become a fitting model. Point number 1, you have to be a size medium. Clothing manufacturers will use fit models in the production of children's, juniors, contemporary, missy, petite, and plus sizing. So if you're interested in becoming a fit model, you can work within one of these categories. The only catch is you have to be a size medium. The reason for this is because when a pattern is graded to the next size up or the next size down, the grading only registers if you start with a size medium. A designer can choose to work with a size 6, 8, or 10 because all of those fall within the medium size range for the missy market. For a plus size, they would use a 2X, but sometimes if they can't find a 2X model, they use a 1X. For a petite, it's a 6 or an 8, and the juniors market, they use a size 7 because the growth rate fluctuates in this category, same with children's. In the industry, measurements are called specs, short for specifications. My across shoulder is 15 3/4. My bust is 37.5. My waist is 29.5. My high hip is 37. And my low hip is 40. My inseam, which goes to the floor, is 32 inches. I am 5'8". These are my specs. They will go on my Z card or my calling card, and they will also be taken during interviews. Since I was 30, I have worked and interviewed in the missy market division. From 21 to 29, I worked as a junior size 7 and a contemporary size 8. Contemporary just means a thinner fit than the standard size. It is a slimmer cut, a high fashion look. Point number 2, you have to maintain your size. One of the most important things for a fitting model is to maintain her size and her measurements. You cannot really gain weight and you cannot really lose weight. The most you can fluctuate is up to 5 pounds. 3 to 5 pounds can be a half a size. So if you end up gaining 1 inch, in the missy market, that's 1 whole size. And if you go into work and you give the wrong comments or say it's too tight, you're not fitting accordingly. You're giving the wrong comments based off of the fact that you gain weight. And this will end up falling back on you because it's your job to tell them accurate comments. Some models do this because they're afraid they may lose an account because they've gained weight. What I have found is that most companies will work with you as long as you don't gain more weight and you lose the pounds you've gained in a short amount of time. Most companies don't like to change fit models, especially if they really like the fit model they have. I've even known companies to keep fit models up to 4 months of pregnancy. If I ever fluctuate in my measurements, which does happen, I let whoever I work with know so that we can adjust the fitting accordingly. Point number 3, you have to be a people person. Working in the fashion industry isn't as glamorous as it sounds. You work with a lot of different types of people that all carry different positions. You work with designers, owners, pattern makers, tech designers, assistants, salespeople. The list goes on and on. Over time, you get to know these people more and you become a team and you develop great friendships. They depend on you just as much as you depend on them. You're not some glamorous hotshot model that walks in there and needs to act like you're doing them a favor. You have to remember they are paying you every time you walk through that door, so they are also doing you a favor by employing you. I have heard of models being snooty, demanding, canceling their schedule just because they find something more important going on. It's very important to be professional as a fit model, but you can still go into work and have fun, make jokes, be loving and warm, and be a personable person, and people will appreciate your authenticity. The fashion industry is a very stressful environment, so if you come into work as a breath of fresh air, it encourages others. If you're a negative person, then this is not the career for you. If you want to be a diva, then this is not the career for you, because this kind of profession is about teamwork and getting garments correctly and accurately made for the consumer, not the model. So be a people person, but also use professionalism. Point number 4, you don't have any personal space. Fitting models don't get the luxury of having personal space. People are always up in your business, manipulating the garment they're trying to create. So they're pinning and pulling and tugging and prodding anywhere they want. It can be any part of the garment, the armhole, the neck, the crotch, the sleeve. Anywhere that bothers the designer, they could just come up and touch it. They forget that we are live bodies and they manipulate garments on us like we're mannequins. Sometimes it's hysterical and sometimes it's annoying, but it's part of the job description. So if you don't like being touched or people up in your personal space or you're too modest, then this isn't the career for you. Also, with COVID-19 going on, if you have a compromised or weakened immune system, this may not be the career for you because people are always up in close proximity to you. Currently, we're wearing gloves and masks while doing fittings, and this may be the future, but you really need to consider that for yourself. Point number 5, you have to manage yourself. When you start working off as a fit model, you will more than likely be working with an agency. If you have a part-time job, you will need to let your agent know when you're not available. And then when you start booking accounts, you will need to learn how to manage your time and your business. Managing your time is very important, especially when you start getting busy. You will need to predetermine how traffic, your schedule, lunch, and delays will fit into your day. Having good foresight in this category is a skill. What I do the night before is I always check my texts and my schedule to make sure there's nothing I haven't forgotten to put in my calendar. And then the following morning, the first thing I do when I wake up is I check traffic and I check the weather. I am an early riser, so by the time I leave for work, I've already done a slew of other things and I'm ready to go. So you're going to learn to manage yourself. And the other thing you're going to do is learn how to manage your business. You're going to invoice your client, and then you're going to send one copy to your agent and keep one for yourself. When you start working for yourself, you'll just have 2, one for yourself and one for the client. When you work for an agency, you are considered an independent contractor. At this point, you are working for yourself. You will no longer receive a W-2, you will receive a 1099. So at the end of the year, you will be responsible for paying your own taxes and taking your own deductions. I'm going to do a video on how to do that, or you can make it easy on yourself and just get an accountant. So these are the top 5. You have to be a size medium. You have to maintain your size. You have to be a people person. You have no personal space, and you have to learn how to manage yourself. Thank you for joining me on Fitting Model 101, where you get to learn the ins and outs of how to become a fit model. Join me next Friday when I take you on a live fitting under COVID-19 conditions. If you like what you see, please click the like button, subscribe, and join me back here next Friday.